Hey, y'all, welcome back to another Metazoo video. Today is a little bit more of a Metazoo market video regarding its comic books, and I think I mentioned it to you guys in the recent videos. I basically gave a little, just a random throw out there saying, hey, I think the comic books are a little bit undervalued. So what we have here on my screen is the Chapter 2, Print 2, so second edition, second print of the second chapter, which, $10, and now it comes with a sealed holographic card promo, and I think these started shipping out this past week. But just kind of wanted to give you guys a really quick opinion regarding the comic books. So I believe if you guys have watched my video regarding why I think Metazoo will be basically quite successful, not just based off of the cards alone, but based on the marketability and the ability to make plushies and shirts and basically the apparel and all that, beyond just the TCG portion of Metazoo. And one of those is the comic books. Now, these comic books, right, you get the first prints, which are limited to 1,000, and then you get the second prints, which are limited to 5,000. So the first edition Metazoo comics are, again, in my opinion, undervalued based on the quantity that are out there, and based on the popularity and demand for Metazoo. Now, I should have made this video last week, maybe heck even 2 weeks ago, because I have started noticing the prices tick up on these books. Well, except for maybe the second edition because it's still so new, or I'm sorry, the second chapter since it's so new. But even so, the first chapter, Chapter 1, first edition, has started climbing up. It may not be sold listings yet. However, there's so few listings available across online marketplaces that it makes me believe that eventually that's what the prices will be, and very soon. I wouldn't doubt that by, October next month, somebody would be wanting to buy a first edition Chapter 1 book at the current prices. So if we hop on over to eBay, right, this is the current landscape, the current listings available for Metazoo first edition comics, right? So of course these are the second chapter first edition, $70. This is $45. 27 is the current bid. So in regards to Chapter 2, prices have gone down. So I would actually consider looking at this if you guys are interested in maybe getting the comic because you think the prices are going to go up, which is what I think. You may want to look at Chapter 2 as the initial investment of sorts, right? But then we get down to the first edition, first print comic book, the very first chapter. Currently, like I said, there's only 1,000, and this is the first listing at $388.99. Current, zero bids, of course, but that's where the starting bid is at. This is the second edition for $39, second chapter, first edition for $150, and then here's another first edition, first print at a $600 or best offer. And then finally, there's what looks to be two more. Well, maybe three if you count that one. So this one is a $500 or best offer. This is $375 or best offer. And then down here is one that is signed by Mike Waddell at $200 starting bid. However, this is actually a second edition. I apologize. You see that blue? That's the second edition. So this one doesn't even count. So that's all. There's a total of what? Let's see. Let's count. So that's the second edition. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 total on eBay. And then if we hop on over to Mercari, these are actually sold listings. So this one was actually a steal. So this guy had posted 2 of them up at $113 each, and these are first editions, and they look in great condition. I mean, actually, I take it back. It looks like there's some creasing here. Yeah, well, it might just be dust, but he sold 2 of these for about $113 each, and then the one before that sold for $205. So that's it. These are all the sold listings. I believe there was more. I don't know what makes them go away or what, on Mercari. I'm not too sure. But if we take off the sold listings and we just focus on what's currently up, right? There is two first edition comics up for sale. One of which is $239, but that's because this one actually has some creasing in the book itself. So if we see here, that's creasing right there, white corners, creasing by the spine. So if you were wanting to get this graded, this would essentially not be something you would want to get graded, because you would get a lower score based on the condition of the book. Granted, it is sealed and all that. There's dust underneath there, but it is sealed. But as you see, there's a lot of creasing in this. Looks like this one may have been shoved into the mailbox or whatever by the USPS people quite harshly, and that's probably what caused the creasing. Or maybe this was, placed in an area where it just had a lot of pressure put on it. But essentially, that's why this one is so cheap, $239, and he had lowered that down from $329. We look back at this other one, and that was $365. Granted, it is down from $500, but that was 2 months ago, and this is one of the only good conditioned first edition comic books that there are. Right? So it seems like the next step for the first edition comics will be the 350 plus mark at this point. And I wouldn't doubt it that by the end of the year, it continues to climb up higher to the $500 to $600 mark. Just really depends on how successful the Nightfall set is and how successful the second print run of Cryptid Nation is. And from all the demand and all the hype surrounding Metazoo and people liking it and liking the art and the idea of the cryptids, and it will likely go up to that price point. Maybe by the end of the year. Again, I could be wrong, but nothing drives prices higher than hype. And people are loving it. People love the art. People are loving the cutesy old school, OG Pokemon art from back in the 90s. And I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon, right? So keep your eyes out on the Metazoo comics. There's very, very few in the market itself, at least the first edition chapter 1s. Again, makes sense considering that there's only 1,000 made, and this is the first comic book ever, the chapter 1. It's going to be very coveted, very highly coveted by collectors down the road if Metazoo's success continues to skyrocket as it has been, right? However, that doesn't mean that the chapter 2s aren't going to be worth money down the road either way. The way it's going right now, chapter 2s are readily available and at really good price points. So I would highly recommend that if you are into comic books and you're into Metazoo and you want to, maybe get some memorabilia, I would recommend looking at the first edition comic books, and heck, maybe even getting them graded. Just make sure you take a look at the condition of the comic book. And if you end up getting it graded and it comes back a 9.8 or a 9.6, preferably a 9.8, it's gonna be highly coveted down the road if Metazoo continues its success story. And given the lofty goals and the basically the striving for success, and I'm sorry, I'm just rambling right now, and I lost the words, but based on how Mike Waddell and the team is trying to expand Metazoo and trying to make it successful, I believe it's going to happen. I personally believe that. I may be wrong, but I think it will happen. So just wanted to give you guys a quick comic book update. I know it's not really TCG, but the comic books I think are a little underrated right now. I would definitely look into maybe purchasing one if you can for your personal collection, to grade it, to do whatever you want with it. But one day these will likely be worth a pretty penny, just if Metazoo continues with its meteoric rise as it has been. But thanks again for checking out this video. This has been Collectible Stonks. If you are new to the channel and you like seeing the financial side of collectibles, such as this video here, consider hitting that subscribe button. I do try to get at least 2 videos out a week regarding Metazoo, Flesh and Blood, and those are basically my 2 primary TCGs that I like to cover currently, just based off of the current market surrounding them. It's very interesting. I really enjoy following these 2 products, and I hope you do too. But consider giving this video a like if you liked it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks again.